Miss Smith and I are often asked for book recommendations, so here are just a few by some authors we thought you might recognize.
Author of One for the Murphys, Linda Hunt writes Fish in a Tree. Allie has always struggled with reading and writing. Now that she's in junior high, her teacher, Mr. Daniels, wants to help her succeed.
In this true story, Caitlin selects a pen pal from Zimbabwe, the most exotic place she's ever heard of. Caitlin and Martin correspond for 6 years, building a friendship and trust that widens Caitlin's worldview and allows Martin to be honest about his incredible challenges.
Jennifer Nielsen, author of False Prince, writes A Night Divided. Gerda's family is split in two when the Berlin Wall is erected overnight. Will she, her brother, and her mother ever be reunited with her father and other brother? Pentagon worker Daniel Ellsberg leaks secret Vietnam War Pentagon papers to multiple press outlets throughout the United States. Patrick and Teddy have stowed away on the USS Indianapolis with help from their friend Benny. When the ship is sunk by the Japanese submarine torpedoes, they must survive in shark-infested waters near the Philippines.
"12-year-old Ryan inherits ownership of the Dallas Cowboys following his father's death. Legal battles ensue as Ryan and his stepbrother fight for controlling interests of the franchise, and they end up resolving their differences on the football field. Blood Will Tell is book 2 in the Point Last Seen series written by award-winning author April Henry. When a woman's body is found in a Portland park, suspicion falls on an awkward kid who lives only a few blocks away named Nick Walker. Nick quickly goes from being a member of Portland's search and rescue team to being the prime suspect in a murder. Even his very interest in search and rescue is seen as proof of his fascination with violence. Can his friends Alexis and Ruby find a way to help clear Nick's name before it's too late? Pat O'Toole has always idolized his older brother, Coop, right up until the day Coop ran away from their home just outside Washington, D.C. Now, a year later, he has received a package containing a digital voice recorder and a cryptic message from his brother, which will lead Pat on a strange and dangerous journey to the mysterious community living beneath the streets of New York.
Jack's brother unexpectedly dies. Now Jack doesn't feel like doing anything, including play baseball. Will friendships with Cassie and Teddy be able to help Jack enough that he returns to the game that he used to love?
A group of boys from Denmark secretly worked together to sabotage the German forces during World War II.
Hello everyone, Miss Smith here, and this is Mr. Anderson.
Hello.
And he is visiting us because why?
Well, one of the Chromebook guys at the high school is moving on to a different job, and Chris, the old guy, he's going up there to take care of that, so I'm the fill-in guy until we get somebody new.
Okay, great. So if you are looking for Mr. Walden and he's not back there and you see this gentleman, it is Mr. Anderson.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid, yes. And
Don't
he's
be startled by the beard.
No, do not be startled by the beard, even if there's glitter in it. So he is here to help you with all your Chromebook issues, but our hours have changed. So when are you going to be here to help with the issues that the
Just in the mornings.
Just in the morning. So if you have a problem with your Chromebook, you need to get here a little before 10 because Mr. Anderson has to move on to other jobs that he does throughout the district to help out with technology issues. He's not our permanent person. It is temporary. So he is happy to help you. And what are one of the things that you might suggest or some suggestions you would have for kiddos to be doing with their Chromebooks if they're having problems, if you're not around?
The first thing would be a lot of times Chrome will update, and if it doesn't get updated, it causes little issues here and there.
Okay.
So the best thing to do is to actually just power down your Chromebook at the end of the day, or whenever you're not using it, and then it'll install itself. So it's all ready to go.
Okay,
next time.
That's something that I've been noticing too, as students have had me come in and help them with their issues, is that they're not necessarily logging off, they're just closing their Chromebook, so it's not updating. So what version of Chrome should they be on?
Right now, 54 is up to date.
Okay.
That changes sometimes every week or so.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Depends.
So guys, if you're not logging off and actually shutting down your Chromebook, that could be part of the problem if you're having issues. So if they have any questions, we are always happy to help you. And we welcome Mr. Anderson. So thank you.
Glad to be here.
So we're going to be talking about digital citizenship quite a bit. And in this next video, you're going to hear the word dossier. And dossier is kind of another word for file. But also think of it like a digital footprint or a digital tattoo. It's the mark you leave behind whenever you're online.
Just about all of us have a digital dossier, but many of us have no idea what it even is. Your dossier is the accumulation of all the digital tracks you leave behind. And this accumulation did not just start last week, month, or even year. It started before you were even born. The line between your digital dossier and your identity is constantly shifting. One way to see the implication of this movement is to imagine how information goes into the file of a child born today. Let's call him Andy. The first entry into Andy's file occurs while he's still 5 months into the womb. It is a sonogram, probably framed by his parents, or even forwarded via email to their closest relatives. The same picture will also be copied in Andy's hospital folder and into a file for the pediatrician who will take over after his birth. As the new baby grows, so do the number of items in his digital file. Andy's barcoded bracelet lists facts like gender, time of birth, surname, and more. Friends and family will come to meet the baby, bring gifts, and take more photos, probably with phones or digital cameras. These photos are then also uploaded to other Flickr feeds or Facebook albums as part of the welcoming process. Andy's parents will use their phones to spread the news with SMS text messages, saying something along the lines of "healthy baby boy, born 6 pounds at 5:30 p.m. Friends will also post to the Flickr feeds, which will conveniently contain multitudes of Andy's pictures. This process of capturing and spreading pictures will continue for Andy's entire life, with pictures of the first time Andy sits, stands, walks, and talks. As Andy grows, he will now be able to independently share information about himself. He registers as a user on Neopets, where he fills out his name, age, birth date, and other details. Half of the blanks may not be even necessary to fill out, but Andy does not notice the significance of the asterisks as described at the bottom of the page. And so, Andy grows bigger, taller, and broader, and with him grows his digital dossier. As an adolescent, he is sucked into Facebook, where he posts pictures, videos, and information about his likes and dislikes. Facebook in turn deposits cookies into his web browser, tracking his activities. He signs up for a Gmail account and regularly uses Google to research for information needed in school assignments. Google in turn keeps tabs on all the searches Andy makes from his IP address. In college, he buys books from Amazon, which asks for his mailing address and credit card number. Andy's credit card company adds even more details to his dossier: the date, time, location, and price of every purchase he makes. And as Andy moves around, the GPS in his cell phone enables his service provider to know where he is and how many times he has been there recently. He is also filmed by surveillance cameras whenever he walks into secured college buildings. When Andy gets married, his dossier expands to encompass all the information about his wife, and they start a weblog together to share their thoughts and opinions online. Together they compile shelf upon shelf of digital tracks, files that are recorded and stored under their names. And when Andy has his first baby, aptly named Andy Jr., the cycle is started all over again. These data points, some publicly accessible, others safeguarded to various degrees by companies and agencies that collect and store this data, make Andy's identity as it forms, even before he himself begins to shape it. And Andy's digital dossier will even grow after his death. Photos or videos of the funeral, RIP messages on MSN Messenger, or his Facebook status posts. Andy probably never knew how large his dossier was. How aware are you of the tracks you leave behind? Want to learn more about your digital dossier?
Hi, I'm here with Miss Smith, and we're going to hear her book talk for the Blood Guard today, right?
Well, I was planning on it, but unfortunately, I'm afraid I won't make it through. I actually just got done talking to the doctor, and I'm going to go get some medicine.
What are we supposed to do about the Blood Guard?
Well, I think I maybe found something that's even better than the book talk.
Okay, good, because you know I cannot be friends with someone who doesn't take their book talk seriously.
I know.
You think you're contagious?
I don't know.
Worst day ever. Evelyn Ronan Truelove. My dad's been kidnapped. My mom turned out to be a sword-wielding maniac. And now I'm running for my life with a homeless pickpocket and a stuck-up geek from my old school. If we fail, everything ends. Like in Brimstone, Doomsday, game over. Our only hope is something called the Blood Guard. But who are they? And why should I trust them? Don't call me Evelyn.